Hello, Dee. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Let's wait for a minute. I see many people joining in. So nice to see you.
Let me adjust. Is it better now, the camera?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Am I audible and visible both?
Yes.
Great, great, great.
I get better light.
I see many people joining in. We'll give another minute. So thank you very much for taking our time. We'll just wait for a minute and we'll get started.
Sure.
So let's get started. So first of all, thank you very much, Yuvragi Didi, as I fondly call you, or say Jija. Okay, and it's so great to see you after so long.
Thank you so much for having me.
So we are absolutely thrilled to have you on this live, and you're going to be an asset to our listeners. And I just can't wait to, discuss your accomplishment. You being a health coach, a lifestyle influencer, storyteller, and whatnot, an HR professional, engineer. So I'm sure this conversation is going to be very, very useful for our listeners because, you are such a wonderful and inspiring personality. And I'm sure I've been knowing you for over a decade now, from being my school head girl to my, senior in engineering. You've always been inspiring and touching lives of people. And I'm sure um, this show is going to be a great one for all those who are listening us live and perhaps those who listen us later. I request if you all have any questions for Yuvragi Rathore, you all can put it in comment box. So with this, while you don't need any introduction, but a quick one for those who would want to know about you a little more. So Yuvragi Didi, she has varied career and life experiences, from being a mother of three beautiful girls to being a spouse of a pilot, to an airline pilot, to being a health coach, an HR professional, and more so living outside India for over 9 years. So as a human, we play multiple roles, but sometimes we have to play all those roles at the same time. And I can assure you all listeners that Yuvragi is one beautiful example, a perfect example that how you can strike balance between your family, your beautiful your family, and your job and work, and still stay sane. So we are going to discuss, up next, that how is she able to manage so many things in just 24 hours. We'll know the secret of her beauty and her ways of inspiring us. And she loves innovation, and now she has expertised in being a very excellent listener, and she enables her clients very well, and her suggestions have really changed lives. And as I'm saying, for me also, those who have joined just now, she was my school head girl and my senior in engineering, and she has this magical personality since then. So I'm very, very fond of her since that time. So I don't know how I'm going to take this session ahead, but I just want to thank you for taking out time, and I can't, wait to get started. So anything, as I'm saying, listeners can put in their questions in the comment box, and I'll request Didi to address it in the end. But before that, if you want to say something, Didi, before we start with the Q&A round.
Well, you really put in a lot of adjectives there. We have all special roles in lives. That's what I believe. Each one of us has a purpose. That is why we are born. So I'm pretty much doing mine, and you're doing yours by creating so much awareness. I'm really, really grateful to you for having reached out and giving me this platform to share my story and reaching out to everybody who doesn't know me. Uh, so I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much, Abreka.
Thank you, and we'll get started. So, as I'm saying, I'm very, very excited to, So because again, you won't believe, but the picture of yours in my mind, which is like from our school days, and if I'm seeing you today, you look just same. You look like you have not aged at all. So on a serious note, what is your fitness regime? And given that you have to do so much I have to achieve so much in these 24 hours. So how do you take care of your fitness, and how you still look just the same?
Well, I tell this to everybody who I meet and who says, "Oh, how do you maintain yourself?" It's the same thing I tell work on myself. There is no shortcut. Every day I try not to miss a workout. So at the moment I do practice yoga. So every day I take out that 1 hour for myself. I wake up early so that I get that a little head start for the day, because I know the rest of the day would go by just like that. So that head start helps, and it is something that I tell myself is something that is also a self care routine for myself. That is my me time, my quiet time. So waking up early and doing that workout 1 hour in the morning gets me really started and sets me up for the day. So that is something I don't miss. If there are days when there is something that is happening and I'm not able to do the morning workout, I try and get in as many steps as possible in the day. So, but for that, I am very, very consistent. I keep try. By and large, I keep a general track as to how much movement has happened for me. So, like if I'm in Jaipur, there are a lot of steps, and I do a lot of up and down, up and down, up and down. So that helps. So then I know that I've climbed so many steps in the day, and it has been a decent workout, even if I did not find the time to do yoga. So I work on myself, and that is the advice I give to anyone, that there are no shortcuts. If you want to look the way you want to look, or you want to feel better internally, externally, you have to work on yourself. Find the time for yourself.
Absolutely, and I think that's the secret. And what best gift we could give to our listeners on International Yoga Day. And you're a live example that how much giving just 1 hour out of the 24 hours and working little bit on yourself makes such a difference. You are a live example of that. How to maintain, and as you said, not only beautifully externally, but I know you're very beautiful internally, and you're spreading happiness. So I think that keeps you sane and that keeps you going. So great to know. And as I said, you have a live example of those who are consistent in terms of taking care of their fitness and yoga and all. So great to know that. So as I'm saying, you were my school head girl, and I don't remember much about the school, but obviously I can't forget you. So you were a head girl, and you had those leadership skills, and I still remember people loving you, and you were like unanimous choice, and there was no second doubt about when you were there. So you were a leader, you're a born leader, if I can say. So how are you now using your leadership skills? How do you put them in use now?
I believe for any leader, a leader is somebody who can lead by example. तो अगर आप खुद अपने हाथ गंदे नहीं करोगे तो कोई भी आपको फॉलो नहीं करेगा. So be it being a parent to my girls, or being a spouse, or being a good friend to my friends, being there for them. If I don't lead by example, सिर्फ मुंह हिलाने से और सिर्फ बोलने से तो नहीं होगा, सिर्फ करके दिखाना पड़ता है. So I'm a very action oriented person. If I say something, I do it. I think that's something very Rajput thing about me, that जो वचन दे दिया वो निभाना पड़ेगा. तो अगर मैंने किसी को कहा कि मैं ये करूँगी, तो वो मैं करती हूँ, चाहे कुछ ही हो जाए. That is something that even my girls know, that if our mother is committed, there is no way that she's going to back off. So we met her fall in line. It's just a small example. There was this early morning trek that was organized for families of the new school that we've just joined. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to connect with other parents, because then otherwise there's not much of an opportunity to meet. I mean, my children are on the bus, so how and where will we actually connect with other families? So it was an early morning trek, 5:30 a.m. And I reiterated, like I said, I will come, and I committed, and I kept reiterating to the girls that we are going. So bang on, I cooked idlis to take as a packed breakfast to share, and then the girls are woken up. They dragged their feet and put in a fit, but they knew that there is nothing much they can do to tell their mother that it's not going to happen. And that is something, the only way to do that is by leading by example. So for anyone, if you want to be a great leader, you have to lead by example.
And absolutely, well said. As in, and especially for our children, they see us and they very well understand that, our actions and, what is our thinking and, the kind of things we do. So I think, I'm sure the way you have been raised, I think your girls are equally wonderful. So, just now we're still, I mean, not completely out of pandemic, but having said this, what one thing you realized during pandemic, or what was one learning which you are now putting it in your initiatives or whatever you things you do?
The one thing that the pandemic taught us, and especially taught me, was to live in the moment and not to plan too much ahead. तो
I
अगर
understand.
आगे आगे की प्लानिंग करते रहें और अभी का भूल जाएं तो बड़ी मुसीबत हो जाती है. So that is something that the pandemic taught me as a
Absolutely.
person. Capture,
Power of now, power of
yeah,
now.
power of now.
Correct.
Take the moment, right? What you have right now and act upon it, rather than thinking कि कल क्या और परसों क्या और आने वाले साल में क्या. I mean, it's good to plan definitely, but then you also have to be flexible. So the flexibility part and the fact that even the best laid plans can go awry is something that the pandemic probably taught all of us. So that was a big, big learning for us and for me in particular.
Absolutely, and it didn't. I mean, obviously, it told it explained us, or maybe it made us understand the meaning of living in present. It also helped us value what blessings we have. Things which we often take for granted. So I think pandemic, in a good way, taught us lot many things, and that's absolutely what you said. Power of now, and we should live in present and enjoy and cross the bridge when it comes, and not to stress out more. I think that is also one of the secrets of being happy. So you were almost for 9 years you were like out of India. So how was your experience there? What major difference you found in the lifestyles of staying there and here? And your children were quite grown up when you transitioned back to India. How did they take? How, as a mother, you explained them? And I'm asking this because many of us during pandemic, people got relocated, if not country, but at least the cities or the states. So, as a mother, how did you counsel? I'm sure they must be having their friends there and their own routine, and it's very difficult, to leave that place. And I'm sure even you must be having your own anxieties and apprehensions, and plus, but you have to have a brave front. So, how first question, as I said, the basic difference you found in the lifestyles, and then how did you manage to balance them both?
Well, I've lived in Sri Lanka briefly and I lived in UAE for quite some time. What I really found amazing was both these places, the people were so warm and so welcoming that you felt at home, put you at ease. Like imagine going to Sri Lanka first day, the husband has already gone on a flight, and the neighbors come with food, and they've never met me. They don't know who I am, but they just come with food and give me their phone number and say, I live right across. If you need anything, just call. If you need, and then I was a little hesitant as to, and I'm there with a little child, and I'm like, Acha, call me. So yes, yes, and I did. And for any of those opportunities, small issues, they would come running and help out. In UAE, UAE was more of a cultural mix. I met people from so many nationalities that my girls and myself were exposed to so many cultures and such beautiful people that it is amazing that we have a friend circle which is so varied. Somebody from Jordan, somebody from Ireland, somebody from America. So, excuse me. But the friend circle is so varied, and the kind of culture, that the exposure that one gets, and the thought process, like you start feeling the famous saying वसुधैव कुटुंबकम, आप वो अनुभव करते हो, साक्षात बिल्कुल साक्षात अनुभव करते हो कि हाँ, ये पृथ्वी, ये पूरी धरती हमारा घर है और इसके हम सब निवासी है. सब हम सिर्फ भारतवासी या सिर्फ अमेरिका वासी या इंग्लैंड वासी नहीं है. हम इस पूरी पृथ्वी के वासी हैं, एंड वी आर देयर फॉर ईच अदर. तो अगर आधी रात में किसी को ज़रूरत है, at the middle of the night, if somebody needs something, we are there for each other. And that is the kind of family support I felt and I experienced in UAE too. So we made friends for life. It was a very difficult moment for us to part with all our friends. Not more so with the lifestyle. Of course, lifestyle is lovely, but that kind of lifestyle, even a lot of our metro cities are also providing. I mean, I'm right now in Gurgaon and I've experienced nothing less. I mean, I've pretty much the similar facilities and very, very bright, intelligent people and gentry to interact with. But the fact that my girls got exposure, they have respect for especially all, not just languages, but also people from different races, from different color. So that is very natural कि अच्छा किसी के बॉडी में मेलानिन ज़्यादा है तो वो गहरे रंग के हैं, डार्क कॉम्प्लेक्शन के हैं, और किसी की बॉडी में मेलानिन कम है तो वो फेयर कॉम्प्लेक्शन के हैं. लेकिन है तो वो लोग और वो हमारे दोस्त हैं. At the end of the day, that is what matters, that they are friends and they would fight for their friends. So that is the kind of family, friends that became family is what we experienced. And that was the hardest thing to say bye to. Not the house, not the furniture, not the city, but the memories and the people who
People.
we became friends with. So that was the difference between the two setups of living here and living there. In the wildest of dreams, let me be honest, I never imagined कि मैं इंडिया से बाहर जाके कभी रहूंगी. For me, India was home and this is where I grew up and this is what I knew. But as luck would have it, as destiny would have it, we moved a lot. The big transition from UAE to India was hard. I think was hard for me and for the children, also for my husband. Yet, in our own ways, because there was open communication from the moment we realized that we are moving, there was a lot of open communication between all of us as parents and the children. We would express our feelings of anxiousness, of the fear that what is it that what's our future going to be like. So that fear was shared. It's not that we didn't share, we kept it to ourselves. So even the children knew what the parents are going through. We didn't put up a pretense that everything is fine, everything is perfect. So even they knew, and even we welcomed them to share their anxiety and their feelings. So we had a lot of meltdowns and there was a lot of crying and there was a lot of questioning that why does this happen to us and why did it happen. But at the same time, life teaches you, ups and downs of life actually teaches you how to deal with them even better and makes you even better resilient individuals. So I'm glad if this happened to us and we emerged much more stronger. The fact that we got a chance to be with the children got a chance to be with their grandparents, I got a chance to be with my in-laws for a long time. It was really nice. So we found peace in that, the fact that what we were missing out, every vacation we would be home, but yet it doesn't match up to being there all the days of the year. So small things, just going to the park with the grandfather or going for riding lessons, or a simple thing like just sharing a meal together and having a dinner table conversation about politics and about the war, and the children asking innocent questions. So that really was missing. That interaction with grandparents was missing. So this opportunity was golden opportunity, and I think the children adjusted faster than I did, and they were quicker to make friends, and it's still the case. They make friends first than I do, but yet this transition taught us a lot of how to handle and manage change. Open communication really helped, and sharing our feelings helped, labeling our feelings helped, and the fact that if each one of us was there for each other, saying, if you feel low, you come to me, and if I feel low, I will come to you. So that sharing happened a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the key is the communication, and that is what family is all about. If we need to be open, and it's not that only in happy times we are together, in the challenging times we are there, and that is what precisely a family is. Well said, Didi. Now, we know that you have wonderful daughters, but one of your daughter is a trained, or I can say a professional gymnast. So, and she's very young, and she started, at a very young age, and she's still young. So, as a mother, how did you, realize that her interest lies there? And today, when everybody is on, TV and tabs, especially after these online class and all that, how do you still manage to keep her motivated? And I'm sure all our parents must want to listen to this, and including me, because I find it really hard. No matter how many toys I bring for them, the lifetime of that toy is only 10 minutes, and their ultimate what do you say happiness is only playing a game on a tab. So, just want to know.
Well, I'll be very honest. Haripriya, as a child, was she started to walk at 9 months.
Oh,
Then she used to do these very funny tricks. You know, the little moody that we have, the wicker chair. तो
yes.
मूड़ी उल्टा करके उसके ऊपर वो पाँव से बैलेंस करती थी, छोटी सी, 1 साल की.
Hmm.
She would just
Hmm.
turn it upside down and she would balance with her toes on the moody, the wicker chair. She would, climb up the door frames. ऐसे 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 बंदर चढ़ जाता है. She would climb up the door frames. So I used to be like, and whenever I would take her to the park, she would be hanging on monkey bars, just hanging. So at 2.5 years of age, I thought, let me just try gymnastics, and I took her to mother toddler gymnastics class.
Okay.
And her coach was very amused. As a 2.5-year-old, she followed instructions very well, and she had stamina to hold and balance and walk on the beam without really parent involved. So she said, yeah, she's ready for a older kids class. You move her. So that is how her journey started as a gymnast. Now initially, when we moved her with the older kids, now, there was no mollycoddling with the older kids. Everybody was made to line up. Everybody was supposed to take turns on the various apparatus. So she used to cry a lot. I remember my parents used to come to babysit the girls once a year, and when I would probably take a little vacation, and my mother would say, "काने इन्हें भेजे रोज रोज इतनी रोवे and when माडे भेजे कई मिल रही हो थने." So I would tell her that, I said, Mama, this is something that will pay off in the long run, and it's just a matter of few days of adjusting. And she was so amazed to see that within a year that child actually understood, because she was a very small kid with a lot of other older kids, and yet she understood what a routine is, what discipline is. And still date, I even during the pandemic, I never had to supervise her even once with her homework, with her class, with her assessments. Even now, I don't have to ask her whether she's done her work. She manages her time beautifully, even though she has a lot on her plate. Yet, because of her discipline that her sports bring, this sport brought to her life, she's equipped to handle anything. So even it's whether it's on the go while driving to a class, she manages. She learned horse riding, the quickest of the three, because of her body conditioning, what gymnastics had, given her. So in terms of mental conditioning, in terms of the discipline, any kind of a sport really blossoms you. It really brings a marked difference. And I can say that between the three of my children, one is a active sports person, and she manages her time beautifully, even though she has a lot. She has three hours of practice, and she has regular school, and she gets homework, and yet she manages on, and she finds the time to read. The other thing that I do with my girls from the very, very beginning, I work very hard with the elder one. I used to read a lot to her. So we used to cook up stories together, and we just open magazines and just create characters. So if there's a magazine picture of an ad with a woman dressed in a sari and looking at something, and we would make her name, give the character a name, and just cook a story. So as a child, I did that a lot with her. I would read a lot to her, and that sort of pushed her into the world of reading. So she's a very, very passionate reader. And when the middle one, Haripriya, came in, she saw, oh, I have to compete with my sister, because that's what siblings do. They want to blindly imitate what the older one is doing. So she said, oh, my sister reads, I better read, and I need to read the same stuff that she reads. So she picked up a lot of reading thanks to her sister being the inspiration. So as a family, we read, we find the time, and I used to read a lot of bedtime stories. We do night talks as a family. My husband does take that initiative. So he talks about anything, about constellations, about patience, about something that happened in the day which stayed with him. So it's something leaves them with a good thought to think about. So he would do that. Night talks is something that we do a lot. Now, talking about gadgets, well, I'm not going to say we are a gadget free family and I don't give screen to my girls at all. However, we set ground rules. Like, for example, even now we have holidays, summer holidays happening, and we have a ground rule. So, the ground rule is during the weekdays they get 30 minutes of screen time, and on the weekends they get 2 hours of screen time. And that is something that we have an agreement on. So the girls would promptly come, okay, so there's negotiation. Can we get the screen time in the afternoon or can we get in the evening? And I'm flexible about it, but the ground rules stay. So that actually helps in the mental expectation of any children, for anybody. You know, if you mentally know कि हमें सुबह उठ के ब्रश करना है और हमें इतने बजे नाश्ता करना है और इतने बजे लंच होगा और इतने बजे हमें बाहर जाना है वॉक के लिए, एक्सरसाइज के लिए, you sort of have a routine in your head and that routine helps. So this sort of routine also helps us as a family, and we all stick to a routine. So even with the vacation, I set the ground rules very, and I have them have a buy-in. So we had an agreement. So I said, do you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree? Say, yeah, yeah. And there were pros and cons and discussions on the agreement. And yet we came to a mutual agreement of this, that we have with the screen time. Now, when we travel quite a bit between Jaipur and Gurgaon for the moment, and sometimes elsewhere. So then train also we try and carry a lot of entertainment, be it books, be it coloring books, puzzles, card games. They even do Pictionary with just random plain sheet of paper, so everybody has to guess what we're. So you know, we play Atlas. Atlas is Antakshari with continents and places. So
Correct,
अगर बोला
places.
Atlas, तो आप सर से कुछ बोलोगे और उसके आगे मैं कुछ बोलूंगी. So you know, we create a lot of games on the spot, and that is how we keep each other engaged. The only key is you have to give time and you have to be engaged a little bit to get them started. And once they are in the routine, they sort of create their own um, momentum for the same. So that's my personal experience on that.
Absolutely wonderful. And I totally agree because I have two boys and I also, since they're also young, so I don't push them for studies, but yes, they are always involved in some sport, be it football or cricket. And as you said, I echo with you in terms that, sports, having a sport as a hobby brings in discipline. It also teaches you a lot of life skills, and they make you active, mentally as well and physically as well. So I think a lot of skills you learn when you are passionate about a sport, and definitely that routine helps you stay away from unwanted gadgets.
हार
So very
जीत
nice
हार
to.
जीत कैसे हैंडल करनी है वो भी बहुत अच्छा सिखाती है. That
I
sportsmanship
know. Yes, yes, yes.
is a lot
Correct,
about.
correct. Taking the failures in your stride, understanding that game may somebody will win and somebody will has to lose. Everybody cannot be a winner. I just missed that point. Absolutely. And I remember a few days when they used to maybe lose and they used to come upset, but now they're okay with it because they understand that today if we have lost, tomorrow we might win. So I think that's also a very good thing which they learn. When they play some sport. So finally, one very sweet question. So we say love in air. For you, your love is literally in air because your spouse is a pilot. So how do you deal with? And I'm sure it's very challenging to manage three daughters, no matter how disciplined they are, and day-to-day household chores and other challenges. So when the times when you actually need him and he's not there, right? Because maybe you can't connect with him because of he may be flying or maybe different time zone or something. So how do you stay calm at that point in time, and how do you manage basically? What I'm sure there would be times when you would need him and he's not there. So how do you do that?
Um, well, I signed up for it in the first place when I said yes to him. So I was aware that he's going to be away quite a bit. At that time, of course, I was also very busy with work, so we would find time, small spurts of time to spend quality time with each other, and that is what we do even now. So whenever he's home, we try and spend quality time as a couple, and also one-on-one time. He spends a lot of one-on-one time with the girls. Having said that, yes, I would say that yes, mostly I am the active parent in the lives of my children. um, but the girls also understand that that is the nature of their father's job, so the expectations have sort of gone down. So they don't expect a lot. If he's there, they're very thrilled. If he's not there, they understand, and they sort of give him the update. So every day we try and find the time to speak. So even if he's away, thanks to technology, like how we are talking right now, being into different
Absolutely.
cities, it helps. It helps to be able to stay in touch, to at least update each other what's happening, and uh,
Correct.
what's the
Each
status.
other's well-being. Yeah.
Absolutely. So communication really helps. Having constant communication, even if it is just how was your day and how was my day. So that helps. But the fact that we don't. I mean, I have mentally don't really. If I keep expecting a lot, or think that he should be the father, that the kind of father I had who was involved with me, be it sports day, be it fancy dress, be it elocution, and he was there making me prepare for the athletics meet, and waking up early in the morning or staying up late to help me prepare. If I keep comparing, then I would never be happy. The fact is, every individual is different, unique, brings some amazing strengths to the table. So why not focus on that? पांचों उंगलियां बराबर तो होती नहीं, पर साथ में मुट्ठी तो बन सकती है.
Well said, well said. Absolutely, it's a very good learning because, so we being working professionals, I'm in Mumbai, so there's always some time crunch. And what you said that you need to mentally condition yourself, and perhaps acceptance is the key that, and that is how you will remain happy. So very nice, very nice. So another beautiful thing I noticed about you quite recently was your cute way of demonstrating those stories. You make those finger puppets, and you're a wonderful storyteller. So how did this interest you explored this passion?
Well, I was always, like I said, I was always reading to my girls, and I would always narrate stories to them. But I'm also very rooted to my home being Jodhpur, my home being Rajasthan. So that connect. Even if I was away, I would follow a lot of the festivals, Teej Tyohar, Vrat, चौथ का व्रत साल में 4 बार. So my girls would feel, ये मम्मा ये क्या साड़ी पहन के चांद ढूंढने जा रहे हैं. Well, what's the point? But the fact is, I don't know if they see the point or not, but I do. I mean, it makes me happy to be able to follow through the culture that I grew up seeing,
Traditions, yeah.
and I feel really really very proud of the fact that I come from where I come from, and if I can just live up to what I grew up seeing, even this bit, it would make me happy. So culturally, I'm very 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 deep rooted. So the fact that a lot of these old stories that I grew up listening to would probably just die with the last person who knew the story. So this was my attempt to immortalize in some possible way, bring it to as many people as possible, the stories that we grew up listening to. So I might, add on to it. There might be a point then we can go on to history and go beyond Rajasthan. But the point is, right now I started with what I knew best and what I grew up listening to. So that was my initiative and my reason to start narrating stories. My sister said, Jija, why is pantry, looks like a food page? So it's very confusing. I said, yeah, it does look like a food page, but it's food for your mind and food for your soul. So I'm sure it will fall in line. But at the same time, I feel very, very passionate. So at least I have a platform where I can reach out as many people as possible. So, which is why the idea of narrating stories every weekend.
And they are absolutely wonderful. See, while we do have a lot of stories, and we can, on the social medias and other YouTube channels, but I found your stories very interesting because they have this traditional touch, and the way you speak, it is absolutely mesmerizing, and you just can't, leave it in between. So very, very beautifully you demonstrate with those your finger puppets, and I request all our listeners to at least, attend one of our live story sessions or maybe recordings. You can follow us, and you can hear her story. So it's wonderful. I think a very nice initiative, and I'm sure once this becomes a routine, all other children will also look forward for the weekend to hear a new story. Like in our childhood, there were very few channels, and the way we used to wait. for certain good things. So that's a great thing you're doing, and you, as you said, you're keeping this culture alive, which we kind of gradually, while we are moving towards technology, there's something which we are missing out, but you're keeping it alive with all your possible in your capacity. So that's a great thing. And before we conclude, a quick rapid fire for you, and you just have to answer me in a word and don't have to think much. Okay, all set? Okay. So what angers you and what gives you hope?
Lies anger me a lot, and लोग अभी भी अच्छे हैं, लोगों में अच्छाई बाकी है, so that is what gives me hope.
Fantastic. Two things you wish people would know about you.
Um, that's a tough one. Okay, I do watercolor painting, not very good at it, but I really enjoy it. It's very therapeutic. And I enjoy cooking a lot. But I'm sure that everybody knows from the food that I post. But yes, I really enjoy cooking a lot. And I love dancing. I love dancing, especially our traditional boomer. That is something that I really love.
So I think next after storytelling, we'll have dance sessions from you, isn't it? Okay. So if there's anything, any advice you could give your younger self, I know you were a brilliant student. I witnessed that, but still, if there's something which now, after so much of experience of life, any suggestion you think, or you went wrong somewhere when you were young?
I would tell my younger self, the younger Yuvragi, to take it easy in life rather than rather than really,
True.
really, break a few rules rather than following all the rules.
Yeah,
Sit at the
we were
back
kind of
bench
very good
instead of sitting
students.
in the front bench and try and see
Yeah.
how that feels. So yeah, I would say that to just take it easy a little bit.
Yeah, at the end of it, we all are sitting somewhere, so it doesn't matter, right? But yeah, even I sometimes feel that being good in academics and being that first bencher, we did miss out on a lot of musties, what I feel. Anyways, so do you Google yourself? If yes, why?
No, I don't. Where is
You
the
don't Google?
time?
No problem. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Okay. Perseverance. So I'm a very persevering person. Like I said, I don't give up easy. Confident and passionate. So if there is something that I believe in, with passionately, I really really go to lengths to make it happen or make it happen for somebody else. That passion drives me for anything that I'm passionate about. Drives me a lot. That's the internal fire that keeps me going.
Absolutely. And your this strength is just so contagious. In I mean, after the show, I'm sure already most of us are already just pepping up that we also have to do something. And so much to learn from you. These last few minutes was beautiful learning. As a parent, that how you should invest time in your children. And they may outgrow the toys or clothes which you bring for them, but the time is what is most important, and those good habits which you inculcate at the beginning. And while for a child it may sound, as you said, your mom said that you've been mean, but now look at the outcome. Now she's so balanced. So obviously, I think some tough decisions at some point in time, but that is for their happiness. So great thing. So before we wrap up, a final message to our listeners, Yuvragi.
I would say again and again, live the moment that you have right now rather than really worrying about what's going to happen next. So a lot of times, because we keep worrying कि आगे क्या होगा, sort of we miss out on what we have right now. So that is my advice to everybody who is listening, that live in the moment and enjoy it to the fullest, because that is something that will just slip through your fingers like sand. So make the best of it.
Sure, there is so much. There's the moment of the power of now, and the moment is what we have. So, absolutely, we need to be aware of every breath, and every moment we are in. So, thank you very much once again. I thank you for taking out time. You
Thank
are
you.
extremely inspiring, and thank you very much. Thank you to all our listeners to taking out time on a weekday. And once again, we'll be posting this live, so listeners can listen at a later point as well. So do follow us for wonderful updates. The IDs are Abreka and the Wise Pantry. Do follow our handles for a lot of good stuff coming your way. Thank you once again and good night. Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.